my travel obsession and why it is important to travel. Personally, I believe every human being should really have a chance to travel. And like I'll be talking about in the following series, I'm going to try and do this as a series. Probably you'll get to know that it's also possible to travel without really having to spend a lot of money. So what are the benefits of traveling? Why should you travel? Let's start with a culture exchange. I cannot express how important and how amazing that is, being able to experience different cultures. And we're talking about, I've been to, I don't count anymore, but I've been to more than 35 countries now, and you get to discover different cultures in comparison to your own culture. And living that alone, like, you learn and grow as a person. You learn to respect people's, ideologies, people's views. You get out of your bubble, So culture exchange, like I would say, it is very, very important and possible when you're someone that travels. And that's why I believe everyone should try and travel. Not forgetting that traveling is also, personally, I believe it's an education process. You learn. When you travel, it will not always be rosy, or it could be rosy, but you get into unexpected situations. You get to face unexpected challenges, and you learn and grow from these challenges. You even get to know yourself better, like how you react to situations, how you handle situations. I'll give you a very recent example. When we traveled to Uganda last year in August, the challenges I faced, for example, that was still to Corona time, like we had to do the tests, like you've planned your budget. And then, of course, I realized, we're 3 people, we need Corona tests, this PCR, that cost us around 300 euros. That is something you hadn't planned. And then we got to Uganda and no one even looked at our Corona test. And then you're thinking, why did I even spend money on that, And how everything is handled. Like, of course, for me, the Ugandan culture is not so foreign, but considering that I've been living in Germany for more than 12 years, it's something also different for me. Like, every time I go back home, how things are handled, like at the airport, and how I deal with such situations, because my mind is now more of a first world mind. There are some things that I expect to be automatic, some things that I take for granted, and I expect them from other people. But then when you travel, you realize, no, you're now in a different setting, things are done differently here, and you have to adjust or react to it and see how to maneuver. So definitely traveling for me is a learning process, is a form of education. And I believe the more you travel, the wiser you become. It's the kind of education outside of the formal education in a classroom. We're not going to forget the open-mindedness. I always say that. I always have these kind of conversations with different people, especially me being a German citizen of migrant background. When I have discussions or conversations with people asking about my experiences here, being a Black girl, living in Germany, a mother, divorced, and so on and so forth, I always tell them traveling is really key to how you perceive the world. It's really key to how you perceive people, how you perceive situations. And if you're to be honest, people that are very negative, people that are not flexible, people that are very judgmental are people that have not traveled. Once you travel, you have an open mind. Like I say, travel exposes you to different types of people, to different personalities, to different situations. Another recent example is when I traveled to Berlin. That was in, I don't even remember the month, but last year around summer, I think it was August. I stayed in 2 different hotels. So the first hotel I was staying in, it wasn't like my usual type of hotel. And I had expectations, like for me, a hotel, if I'm booking a hotel, it's very important to have like a bathtub. Those are things that are important to me. It's important to have at least, not really a mini bar, but if possible, yes, because I would like to have water and so on. I don't take alcohol, but I need a bar. And then I need really at least a water cooker, because I'm obsessed with tea. I need tea all the time. Or if that's not possible, then I expect a hotel to be having a full-time open bar, like where you can go order tea and lounge around and something like that. And this first hotel didn't have it. And for me, that was another learning experience. I was like, oh my God, I was really distressed, but I had to find a way of navigating around it, and then had to talk to the reception, how important it is to me to have something like that on the room, if I could pay an extra for that, and so on and so forth. So in that moment, I realized, oh my God, it's a never-ending story. You learn and grow. So I'm more open-minded. I get to meet different people while I travel. Like, I'll give you an example of some of my travel experiences. Again, I'll use an example of Berlin. When I was in Berlin, I was there for work and holiday. You know, like, it was first work, then I decided to extend my stay there to have a few days holiday. So of course, like any other person, I wanted to have a look at all the tourist attractions, but I didn't know how far are they from each other. So one day, I booked myself an Uber to take me for dinner because I had a dinner reservation. And on my way there, I got into conversation with this gentleman. I always try to do that. I know some Uber people don't like talking. Of course, I have I would say I have a very good sense of people understanding, that I can tell if someone wants to have their peace, if they are willing to chat. So I engaged him into conversation and then told him, yeah, I'm here for 3 more extra days and I would like to drive around or look around. I told him the places that I would like to visit. I told him that I'm also a digital creator, so it would be a very good opportunity for me to take my community along. And this gentleman goes like, oh, okay, so if you like, I could take you tomorrow, you know, privately outside of the Uber app, because that wouldn't have been possible to book him like for the whole day. And I'll take you to all the tourist attractions here and even the places you didn't expect. So the first thing I thought was, well, that must be costly. So I told him directly, I was like, I really need to know what that will cost me, because I believe that might cost a fortune and I don't think I have that kind of budget, but let's talk. So he's like, no, just tell me what time I should pick you. You decide how much you want to pay me. And that can be tricky, let me tell you, because it puts you in a guilty spot. You're not sure how much is enough, you know. But I told him, yes, but I wanted to set at least, you know, a budget, because I don't want to give you too much or little. I don't want to be lost in between. He's like, no, I'm cool. I'll take you around. So he asked me about what I do, my job and everything. And this gentleman, next day after breakfast, he picks me up, keeps his word, takes me around Berlin. I had him the whole day, you know, telling me, oh, this place is nice. So if you're making videos, this place, you should check it out. Then there are parts of Berlin that I didn't even want to go to, you know, like you get to look at areas that maybe could be dangerous for you. And then I didn't want to go there. I was like, no, I'll drive you there. It will be very good for you, because if you're showing your community around, it's good to show them everything realistically. So I'll take you there. You don't have to get out of the car, and I'll just open the windows and you can film. So that is an example of some of the experiences, you know, that the value you get out of traveling. I would have never ever met this gentleman, or I would have even never expected. You know, we've been, especially during the corona time, we had situations where we lost faith in humanity. Times, or if you're someone with a migrant background like me, you sometimes experience things where you're like, people are cruel, you know. Or if you're on social media can be really cruel. And then you meet a gentleman like the one I've just told you about, the Uber guy, and you're like, the world is not so bad after all, you know? So definitely try and travel. I'll find time to do another video giving you tips on how you can travel on a budget, but definitely it is worth it to travel. Not forgetting, for me, I believe it makes more sense to invest and spend money on experiences than material things. And don't get me wrong, I love nice things. I'm someone who likes shopping and all. But if I'm honest, like I told you, I always clear my wardrobe 3 times a year. That is spring, summer, and autumn, you know. And when I go through my wardrobe, sometimes I look at things and I'm like, oh my God, I've never put on these shoes, but they cost me a fortune, you know. And I don't even remember when I bought them, when I wear nice shoes. Okay, I'll enjoy that, but it's not something that stays in my mind. I'm like, oh my God, I felt so good when I wore these very expensive shoes, you know. It's for the moment. But let me tell you, the experiences and the memories you create while you travel will last a lifetime. When you're old and wrinkly and you're sitting there with your grandkids, you know, or pushing your wheelchair, you're not going to think about the 500 euro Louboutin that you bought, you know, or this expensive dress that you bought. You're going to be thinking about the experiences, the memories you created. That's why we have like photos. That's why we make videos. That's why in the past we had albums, you know, like the paper photo albums to cherish the moment. And these are the memories that really make life sweet, even to our very last day. So for me, personally, I believe it's worth it to invest in moments, in memories, in experiences. How much budget you want to allocate to your travel experiences is of course up to you. Traveling, on the other hand, also can be a life changer. I mean, we live in a world that is so fast-paced, a world that is so like programmed. We don't even take time to reflect. Everything is, moving so fast. You have to go to work, take the kids to school, like talking about myself. You don't get time to like breathe and reflect about everything. And I believe when you travel, you have a chance to, should I say, watch the world from outside, reflect about your life and your situations from outside looking in. You understand? Like you're not under pressure. I have to wake up tomorrow and go to work. You're not under pressure. I have to finish this document that I'm working on. You really can take time to reflect upon your life and make decisions. Ask yourself, am I satisfied with my life? Could I do better? Do I need to, calm down with everything? Do I need to travel more? Do I need to work less? Do I spend more time with my family, or am I neglecting them? I believe travel can be a very, very good time for you to reflect. And if you ever need to make like a very, very big decision in your life, I would ask you to take a break, take a few days off work. You don't have to go somewhere very far, be it going to another town, spending the weekend, change of scenery, and take time to reflect. It can be really, really helpful because you get to get into your own bubble. You close the world out. Like I said, you don't think about work, you don't think about colleagues. You are in your own bubble, and it gives you a chance to truly, truly reflect about everything. So if that's not reason enough for you to travel, I don't know what is. But for me, besides that, creating the memories, I think the best part also is the people. The different people you meet, the different personalities, the different cultures. And I'm not even talking about just the locals. Like when you go to different cities, like when I was in Uganda, or when I was in Salzburg, or when I'm in London, I get to meet not just the locals, but also other people that are traveling, and you get to exchange your experiences, and you get to understand why they travel, and you get to understand what drives them. There's some decisions I've made based solely on my travel experiences, like, for example, my decision to invest more time in my family, quality time in my family, was also birthed out of my travel experiences, because I realized at the end of the day, when I'm all wrinkly and old, I'll not be so proud of myself for having worked myself to death, but I'll be proud for having worked less to spend time with my family, worked less to be able to travel with my family, of course within my means, So for me, traveling is a definitely winning situation, and it doesn't really have to be expensive. Like I said, one of the important factors, if all other things don't matter to you, traveling can be a very, very good learning experience. Okay, so keep that in mind. And for me, like I said, I'm thankful and kudos to the people that I've met while I travel, people that have made me believe in humanity, people that have made me believe in the good in people. I've also had some bad experiences, but I've learned out of them. Situations that I would have probably never knew how to handle, I've learned out of them. I've managed to handle them. God knows, I think I would have to do another video telling you about my travel experiences, because if I start now, it will be too much. But I've learned and grown through such experiences. So basically for me, those are the reasons, some of the reasons why I am 100% convinced it's important to travel. Probably there's several other more reasons. Let me know in the comment section, what would be your reason for traveling? What do you think someone should consider when traveling? Why is it important to travel? If you're not yet traveling, what's the reason that is stopping you? Why don't you travel? And keeping in mind, I know traveling can seem challenging and scary for some people, and that's very okay, honestly. But you also have to keep in mind that you can decide how you travel. And I think that's what I'll talk about in the next video. You can decide if you want to have high budget traveling, low budget traveling, if you want to have adventurous traveling, if you're someone that just wants to lie by the beach. That's not my kind of holiday, for example. I can't imagine going somewhere just to lie by the beach. That's not my kind of holiday. If you love city trips, it's endless. Like, it's really endless. If you're interested in me doing a video of something like that, telling you like the different kind of travels you could engage in depending on your budget, I could also do that. But keep in mind, it is possible. And also another problem that always hinders people is people think you must have companies to travel. That's not true. It's really okay and can be very fun and refreshing to travel solo. I do that quite a lot. Of course, not everyone has these opportunities. For some people, it's like a negative. For me, it's a positive and something that I really find refreshing. I mean, I'm a mom of 2 boys, divorced. So of course, like, I'm with my kids 24/7, besides the time when I'm at work. So for me, it's a kind of a breather, refreshing when I go on holiday, sometimes alone, because I consider that to be me time. And like I always say, before the kids, that was me. So it's very important for me to be in a good place, to be in a good space, mind-wise, and happy to be an amazing mom. So I appreciate that I get some time off, especially when the kids are with their dad or go on holiday with their dad, and then I get to travel solo. It's amazing. It's fun. If you don't know that, just go to my travel playlist on my YouTube channel right now, and you'll find amazing solo travel videos of mine. My lovelies, so I hope and pray that this video encourages you to even just consider traveling. And you don't have to start big, step by step. Start by visiting the neighboring country. If you're staying in Uganda, start by traveling to Kenya by bus. If you're living in Germany, start by visiting the next city. I do that quite a lot myself, you know. So try, wherever you're living, travel to another city slowly but sure. And then you'll get to fall in love with traveling, and you'll get to understand the different means that are available, the different types of accommodation. It doesn't have to be expensive. I think I'll have to do a video about that and tell you about budget traveling and luxury traveling. Yeah, basically that's it, my loves. Thank you so much for watching. As usual, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on all my socials under the same name, ruzhoff. And for all the recurring members, I'm forever indebted to you, and all I can say is thank you, and thank you so much for being member of the ruzhoff family. Until next time, my loves, just get into the comment section and let me know what you think about this and what kind of video you'd like me to do next time about travel. That is, if you're interested in travel.